To talk about what is going on in the battle against ISIS, retired Army Major General Paul Vallely, who remains with us via Skype from Montana. Paul, first to ISIS weapons. The New York Times reporting ISIS has possession of some shoulder-fired missiles, including Chinese-made missiles. Where did they get them, and could it be a game changer in the air war?
Well, it certainly could, and they're gathering up as many weapons as they can, and we know from the attacks in northern Iraq, taking over Mosul, taking over in other places outside of Baghdad, that they have captured a tremendous amount of arms and other types of equipment, including, you know, the airplanes that they secured in Syria, as well as some of the weapons caches taken from Assad's army, and even what limited arms the Free Syrian Army had. So they're gathering up as much as they can. They're on the move. There's no doubt about it. And as my good friend Ollie North said, Kobani is sort of a diversion on the real attack to take Baghdad. So, but you know, I'm sort of the feeling now, I had an epiphany a couple of weeks ago on one of your shows that, you know, I really don't want to see another ounce of American blood shed over there in the Middle East. And if they can't get their act together, then we've got to go to a new forward strategy. And if there's a threat against the United States, we've got to attack it using what I call the Joint Strike Force operations from outside. But as far as boots on the ground, we have special forces there, by the way, but everything's flowing through Baghdad, and very little is getting up to the Peshmerga up in Kurdistan.
And we will touch on that in just a minute, but you talked about American blood being shed. We had the first report of an official U.S. casualty at the hands of ISIS over the weekend, a 19-year-old Marine from California. Does this heighten the mood to move forward, or will that result in more hesitancy and rethinking along the lines that you've offered, Paul?
Well, I don't think we have the strategist anymore in the Pentagon or National Security Team to outline a really effective forward strategy of how we conduct operations against threats to the United States over there. You know, we seem to piecemeal stuff. We're doing very, again, limited airstrike operations there, and we just seem to have an incompetent team that can't get it right. And I wish more of the generals and admirals would stand up and really say aloud, this is enough. We have got to do this a different way, because the Middle East is costing so much in money and human resources. It's like a giant sponge over there.
Paul, let's go to another strategic part of that region as international forces officially ceased combat operations in southwestern Afghanistan on Sunday. General, was this the right decision now, especially with all that's going on in that area?
Well, I think it's going to be another travesty if we pull out completely at this point in time, with all that's been, again, invested in financial and human resources over there. I would start negotiating more with India. India is a very powerful army over there that will have more effect on that region than we ever will. And so I would look at, again, another forward strategy to engage some of the other countries over there to make sure they're involved to some degree. And we're not doing that.
Paul, we have about a minute remaining. There is a report in this morning's Washington Times saying our elite Green Berets are knocking the performance of the Afghan army, even telling stories about soldiers from Afghanistan hiding and quitting the fight. If the Green Berets don't have confidence in the Afghan military, why should anybody else? About 45 seconds.
Exactly right, JD. And even when we left Iraq, we didn't have confidence they were trained, because they did not have the NCOs. They did not have the non-commissioned officer. They don't have a chain down there that effectively trains and keeps the soldiers intact and ready for warfare every day. So it's going to be a travesty in Afghanistan as it is right now. And that's why we need to go to a new strategy.
General Paul Vallely calling for a new strategy. Paul, time is up now. We will have you back to talk about more of what that new strategy might entail and some of your efforts as you continue to cast a wary eye at what is transpiring worldwide. For now, Paul Vallely, thanks very much for your time. You heard what Paul had to say. He called it a travesty in Afghanistan. Do you agree? Why don't you tweet me your remarks at Newsmax TV, #AmericasForum.